Hello, and welcome to Abby Tyler's Healthy Living. My name is Abby Tyler. I'm your host, a family nurse practitioner, a health and wellness blogger, and a community volunteer. In here, we discuss evidence based health information regarding mind, body, and soul with a holistic emphasis. Thanks for joining me on this journey of health and wellness. Please enjoy the show. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to our weekly show. My name is Abby. I'm your Health Living NP. How are you guys doing? Hope all is well. This is our weekly show where we go into a little more detail. If you're new here, this is Abby Tyler's Health Living page on Facebook. And for those of you who are joining me from YouTube and also Focus in Liberia, I say welcome, welcome, welcome. As you can see, today's topic is tips to keep your elderly relatives safe from falls. Okay, so let me go in here and I'm getting my banners ready. Okay, alrighty. So sometimes, for those of us who work in places with elderly and all that, to it, even if you don't have to be in a nursing home or a hospital setting and all. Alrighty. As we're getting older, your body's ability to be able to walk the way you used to walk before, and your ability to like detect distances, like you stepping downstairs or walking, you've back pain over the years, you have back pain or different illnesses that, and then just normal aging. Okay, your ability to be able to walk safely and all that, it becomes a little impaired. Okay, it gets a little trouble. So for most people who fall, most of the people who falling adult ages 65 and above, when they fall, sometimes the fall can be very devastating because you could break a hip that can land you on bed rest for a very long time. You have to go through therapy, and God forbid if you fall and hit your head, that's like brain injury, and all that can also lead to devastating consequences and sometimes even death. Okay. So the most important thing right now at that age is, of course, keeping your relatives safe. It could be your elderly parents, it could be your relative, maybe sibling or aunts, uncles, or whoever you have responsibility for. And not saying that you have to have responsibility and like disrespecting them in a way, but just making sure that your relative is kept safe. Okay. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. Alrighty, we're all getting old, Some of us were like I always tell people, we're seeing some of us at the age now where we have more years behind us than we have ahead of us. Okay. But getting old is a privilege because a lot of people didn't get the chance to get to this point. So, getting old is a privilege. But you want to make sure that you're staying safe and living elderly life, but you're safe. Okay. So, as always, my disclaimer, I'm a provider, but I'm not your provider. So please do not make any changes to your regimen or to your elderly relatives regimen without checking with their own provider first. Okay. Alrighty, so I'll put my glasses here and now we get right into it. So, safety tips to keep your elderly relatives safe. Alrighty, so according to the World Health Organization, falls are the second leading cause of accidental or unintentional injury death worldwide. Adults older than 65 years of age suffer the greatest numbers of falls, fatal falls. Okay, the one I said that it could lead to death. Okay, the threat of accidental death inside your parents' home is frightening, but the reality is things are much different after a fall, even if a person survives it. Okay. So how can we do that? Let's go into some of the tips that we can help relatives. Please share the show. Please give me a thumbs up already because it's going to be a good show. And again, when you click like or you leave a comment, it goes into the algorithm and other people get to see it. Okay. So even if you can't relate to it, I'm sure a lot of your friends, elderly people, other relatives can also see it. All right. So let's get into it. Yes, give me a thumbs up. Share the show, share the show, share the show. Alrighty, just like right in my glasses there. Okay. Okay, so which other way? Floor traction is key. Okay, so you say, what do you mean by that? Let's start with the basics, okay? These are crucial steps, all right? So most seniors, when they're walking around, you see how you get to certain points where they're not walking like how we used to, when you're old and younger, you can just step and just keep on walking. Most senior citizens, they kind of walk with a low shuffle gait, okay, depending on what their diagnosis and all that too, but they still walk like a little slower. So because of that, they can have things on the floor that they can easily slip on and fall. Like a lot of people have little rugs here and there, like in the bathroom, or they have it at the front door. Make sure the rugs that they have over there is not just one of those cloth rugs where anybody can just step on and fall. Because you've been in the position before where you're walking and your foot get on one of those and then you just slip and fall. So imagine that somebody who's an elderly person. So make sure it has a rubber bottom on, and base so it doesn't move, especially like in the front door, around the stairs area, in the bathroom, because if they fall in the bathroom, there's the toilet, there's the tub and all of that, and the sink. That, again, like I talked about brain injury, so it's very important. So make sure there's a rubber bottom on there. Okay, I'm probably going to I'll do another show later on. I'll just have all those different pictures. Alrighty. So make sure it has a rubber bottom. Remove all those rugs that, again, like I said, move the rugs that don't need to be there. Clothing on the floor, move it out of the way. Even things that could easily roll over, move that out of the way too. Now you can also say, oh, wait a second, I think they've been stepping on it for a while now. They'll be okay. But as I said, they get older and other diagnoses, other health issues can also cause that. You don't want them to fall. So anything that's slippery, rolly, move it out of the way. Get one with a rubber bottom. Okay. Alrighty. So another one is ensure that the home is easy to navigate. Now, if you're like me, or I'm sure when I get older, I'll be a pack rat. I'm trying not to be like that right now. So when you go to a relative's house, they like to keep everything, all the different furniture from back in the day, all the little closets and little what's it called, suitcases and things like that. They want to keep it. And you go into the house, you have to be sidestepping this way, sidestepping that way to get to where you need to get to. That's not safe for elderly people. Okay. So it's important that when you go there, make sure the furniture is arranged to where they have enough room to walk around, especially if they walk with a walker, a rollator walker, a wheelchair, even if they walk without that with a cane. Make sure everything is far apart, everything's against the wall already. If it has to be against the wall, and everything else is not just all over the place. Make sure it's easy for them to navigate and you can stand there and look and see. Put yourself in the position of like an elderly person. Okay, I want to walk there. I don't want a small coffee table this way. I don't want this bed over this way. Make it wide enough for them to be able to walk. Okay. That means you might have to get rid of a lot of end tables and other things. Talk to them first, okay, and explain to them what you're doing and what to keep them safe. Doesn't mean they're going to understand, but it's for their safety, okay. Ensure like commonly used items are accessible. Let's say if they're home by themselves, okay, and they have or they're cooking. If some of them still cooking, all that is so clean and cleaning supplies and all, and they're hanging all over the place, or they're too far up in the top corner or the top cabinets. Make sure it's like to where they can reach. Most of it like kind of taller than our parents and all that. So just think about it. You'd be like, okay, I know they're reaching for their medications, or they have to reach for the seasoning for the food, or they have to reach for stuff to do laundry and things like that. But it's so high up, because when they're reaching for that, chances are more than likely they're going to be reaching to try to climb over whatever it is to get to it, or they're going to have a stool. And especially if they have a stool, it has to be a really heavy stool to wear, not heavy, but they can lift it up, but it's really heavy base. So it's not something that can move around or can roll around. Okay. So make sure you have those things closer, and then they can just reach for it. Also, I did a show where I did where little short video. I did a grabber, so they can just have the grabber and just reach for that. It's like a little thing with a little claw end at the end of it, and just reach for it. But make sure it's close by to where when they reach for it, it's not falling on the floor and they're reaching, or it's not falling and hurting them too. Okay. So things like, your outlets and all that, move that out of the way, move the furniture from blocking anything, because anytime they have to reach around anything, that can cause a problem. All right. And also ensure adequate lighting too. All right, because sometimes it's like you go to the house and you see one or two bulbs down. For me, you could be like, okay, yeah, it's not no big deal. But again, as you get older, your hearing, your eyesight, and all that too becomes a little impaired. And some people start getting like glaucoma or cataracts, and those things come on slowly, so you don't even know. So it's important that you make sure that when you go to the house, all the light bulbs are in place. And so every time you go in there, if you go there once a week or you go there every day, or even if they live with you, it's important too, because people don't understand. They think, oh, my parents live with me. So, but you seeing it from your young set of eyes, meaning younger than them. Okay. And you might not be thinking that, like, okay, well, it works for me and mom's here, mom's that, but it's not working for mom. It's not working for dad to see it. And sometimes they don't understand. They don't want to be bothered. They don't want to bother you or seem like they're causing any problems. And also they may not say it, but you have to think and point that, okay, yes, they're older and I have to move things away. Yes, that's my favorite nightstand. Yes, I don't like the lights on at a certain time and all, but it has to be on because mom has to go there. And also night lights. When you need a little night light, put that in the plug when they get up in the night, especially if they have their own bedrooms too. They get up in the night, they have to go to the bathroom. Make sure the canes close by or the walkers close by, the glasses are very close by to like somebody like me. I don't wear my glasses. I use it when I'm reading. All right. But sometimes I right now I'm not using it because I have this like zooming thing right now. So, but if they get up in the night and they have to get up and go searching around to go find the light switch and they have to go searching around for the glasses and all that, that can also cause a fall. Again, most of them most people when they have a fall again they might break a really major bone, and sometimes god forbid they might hit their head and suffer devastating consequences. We cannot prevent every fall, okay, but we can try as much as possible to prevent the ones that we can prevent, okay, because there be sometimes they're unpreventable falls. All right, so it's important that you can do that, you do that and help your parents also make sure night lights, their glasses, their assistive devices like again like the walkers and everything close by. All right, so, so when they get up in the middle of the night, and then also you sometimes people even have like a baby monitor, like just call it monitors now because you call it baby monitors. A little was insulting. So, put a monitor in your room too. So sometimes parents who have like memory issues and all, they might get up and walk to the door or walk outside, God forbid, do things, and you don't want to walk in down the stairs because not everybody has their bedroom downstairs, or not every house is designed to where the bedroom's downstairs. So, or everything is on one floor. So you might not want them getting up and then mistakenly walking past the bathroom or walking out of the room and going down the stairs and getting hurt. So it's important that you do that too. Okay. And that goes into my next one where it says secure the stairs. All right. Secure the stairs. Now, stairs, especially think about it, as young as we are, again, I say relatively young. When you fall, it's like you could really like cause some major damage. So imagine somebody who's like 70 and 80-year old, and even again, like I said, anything above 65. But if you have other issues and all that, so that can cause a problem. So make sure install the railings. If your house doesn't have railing, I've been to several houses where there's no railing, and I really am like, oh my God, I found myself like, swaying a little bit when I'm like reaching for stuff because that's natural. You're going to reach for something to hold on to. So make sure the railings, you have railings, at least two on both sides, but sometimes it's not possible to have it on both sides, but at least have one. And then kind of practice it with your relative and say, make sure you hold on to that, mom. Make sure you have your, slippers on, especially slipper socks where it has a little thready thing on the bottom where you don't fall. Make sure you always have your shoes on. If you don't have your slippers on, the slipper socks on, make sure you have your shoes on, low heels and something that non-skitty too. So you're not wearing some fancy thing. Sometimes they want to wear something really nice, but at that point you want them, they're like wearing something that they're not going to fall. All right. So make sure the grip is there, the stair, and then if every once in a while check it to make sure that it's not like moving around. I know I'm saying make sure a lot. I'm sorry. Again, apply. You can have the non-adhesive stiff because I see some places where you go up the stairs and it's nice and shiny and wood and all. But I mean, I have that, but I don't have that problem since I'm not elderly. So, but you can get these little strips things where you can put at the edge of each steps. All right. So then when they're going up there, they're not sliding. All right. You can do that. And people come to like, oh, I know, you keeping your family safe. And also you can do that in the house too. All right. So if they live with you, you can do that and explain to everybody, I'm doing this because I'm trying to keep mom and dad safe, or aunt and uncle. And when they're at their house, you do that as well. All right, so make sure you steer. And some people have like the chair lift where they have like the electric thing where they can just sit right in the chair and it sticks them up to the stairs and down too. That's also important. Teach them safety stuff too because they're sitting there and they're moving around. Make sure they're sitting completely in there with their arms on the chair and just moving up. All right. So and from the stairs, again, like I said, the National Safety Council, every year there are 12,000 stairway accidental deaths. All right. And so we want to, keep our family safe. In the bathroom, you want to install the grab bars when they get into the bathroom there. Make sure it's on the toilet so they can hold on to it and sit down in the shower. There's grab bars when they're standing up, shower chairs and all that, because they're standing up, they're taking the bath, they become a little dizzy, or just the fact that water's coming on them is like in their faces, they got something to hold on to and they're sitting down. All right. And some they also have, like, I think bath fitters. Nobody's paid me for this. There's the only one that comes to mind right now. They have it where they can fix the bathroom up, where they can just walk right into the bathroom. Okay. There's no tub where they have to lift their leg over to get into the tub. And there's also different devices to where it sits right in the tub and it kind of withers away where you can just get in it and it just goes right over the stuff. So that way it's not, because not everybody can afford to do a whole bathroom. And some people still use the same bathroom as their parents and all. So you can still use the bathroom and get it out of the way. And then your mom or dad can come and use the bathroom too. All right, because it's expensive. Things are expensive, especially when everybody's on a fixed income and the parent or the child who they're living with too. Not everybody's rich, and medications cost money, assisted devices cost money, and the government doesn't cover all of it. And God forbid if it gets broken, sometimes they don't cover it for, that's it. You get it that year and you're not getting it again. Glasses, sometimes they may not pay for it again until the following year. Hearing aids are so expensive. So all those things, they're real important. So when you're living with a parent, when your parents living with you, or you all live in the same house, or your parent living by themselves, those things become very expensive. So it's not a judgment call. Yeah, it's just making sure that everybody's going to live comfortably. All right. Alrighty. So, and also talk to the provider about the medication. So this is where we come in now. A lot of elderly people are taking medication for heart medication, diabetic medication. Sometimes they take medications that, for, let's say, for their blood pressure and also to get the fluid out of the body. Some people have congestive heart failure. Some people have, the swelling and things like that. They need to get diuretics. Okay. Blood pressure medicine that take the fluid out of your body. So, and because of that, so think about it, 80-year-old grandma, she's sleeping and she takes her medication, her blood, let's just say her furosemide, which is also Lasix. And she takes that in the evening, she goes to bed. Now she has to wake up like around, let's say she go to bed around 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. She has to wake up around 12 o'clock to go to the bathroom. Okay. And she has to hurry up because a lot of elderly people, that's one of the worst things that they fear is to be incontinent, meaning like to go in number one or number two on themselves. They would rather like break everything in the body than that happen. And even think about it, even as young as you are, you don't want that happening either. So imagine for them, all right. And they're like have to run and grab their glasses or run and get the cane or run, even if they don't need any of that, they still have to get their shoes or slipper socks and all. So you can talk to the doctor, say, oh, wait a second, mom has to get up in the night, and can we find a way where she doesn't have to take her medication at that time? Can we make it earlier in the day? So by the time she gets done getting the urine and everything out of her and or him, they can sleep through the night. Maybe some medications where like they have to check their blood sugar late at night. Can we try to move things around where they already have most of the medications and they go to bed and not being woken up, and then when they're not getting enough sleep and they wake up in the morning, they're very tired, or they're sleeping, they're getting up in the night because again, have to take some medications and things and so many other things. So many medications can cause so many side effects. They need those medications. Again, risk and benefits. Okay. But you can find a way where you can work those things. Some medications can be changed around. All right. Some medications, like say your thyroid medicine, you got to wake up 6 o'clock in the morning. All right. Depending on you have to take it. Let's say you have to take it 1 hour away from every other medication. So they're waking up. I have to go downstairs and get the medication. I have to do this and I have to do that. So you can talk to the provider and say, how can we make the medications around to where she's not taking it? Does she need to take this medication? Can we divide the doses in the way where she's not taking a higher dose around this time and things like that? Okay. And it's important that everybody has a list of grandma's medication or grandpa's medication. You can have it on your phone because that's the most active one. And also, every time to go to the doctor's office, and if they make changes to the medication, change that on your phone too. Okay. Change the dose. Say we're taking and this medication, this, let's say aspirin, 81 milligrams, we're taking that in the morning. Let's say they change that, they say 2 because of depending on whatever happened after that, or insulin, or just stop taking this other medication, let's stop taking this other one, let's add another medication. Make sure you have the most recent list of medication in your phone. All right. The secret apps there and all, you can have the list. They think about it when you have the list on the refrigerator or thing, then you have to make sure that you're changing that all the time. You have to keep up that, because when they go to the hospital, they can say, okay, do you have a current list of the medication? It's right there. You don't have to go fidgeting around. And so you can also have it on a piece of paper and keep it in your wallet or keep it in your bag. But chances are more than likely that you might leave it at home or make misplaced or get lost somewhere else. Okay. So let me see here. So if you're just joining us, we're talking about safety tips to keep your elderly relatives safe. Let me see. Hopefully my comment section will work today. Alrighty, so let's see here. Jackie said this is a very good topic, but for some of our old people don't like to listen because that's how that's how old people are. Think about it now. At the age that we are, somebody's like telling you, "Oh, you like don't tell me how to live my life. I was the one who was taking care of you when you're younger. You don't do that. Don't tell me how to do it." So it does. It takes a little getting used to. So it's especially in our generation now, we have to start getting used to it. So when we get there, it won't be a bother too much, but of course, elderly people, that's when you really stick to what you know and saying, I don't need this young buck telling me what to do. I know how to climb the stairs. I know how to get up in the night and go to the bathroom. I've been doing that long before that. But you just have to have the conversation. And especially as your relative, your aunts and uncles and grandmas and all that started getting older now, start having that conversation now as they're aging. And you start seeing them squinting with their glasses and you see them walking a little slow or reaching for something in a cabinet. That's when it's really time to start, having that conversation. Okay. And don't bring it all at once because you're just going to just shut down. So introduce it little by little and also bring it to the doctor's attention too. So, okay. So let me just see here. Dennis and highlights. And Emmanuel was is good. Thank you. Thank you all for watching. Yes, yes. Okay, so going back to the topic, thanks again for you guys watching. This is Abby Tyler's Healthy Living page. I'm on Facebook and I'm also on YouTube and Focus in Liberia. So one more thing, goal is additional help. I don't want to make this too long. Alrighty, so additional things you could do. You can get home health agencies to come over. Already, I know people say, "Oh my God, I don't want people in my house." You don't necessarily have to have them in your house all the time. They also have people who do the staging too, like how they can fix up their house when you're going to go buy a house, how they fix it up. They can also have the people come into your house. It's how you baby proof the house. Again, you're not disrespecting the elderly people. You're making sure that they come over to the house and they can see things from an expert point of view. Like you say, you're like, oh no, everything looks good. My mom's safe, but my dad's safe, but they can see it a different way and say, oh no, that's not what let's move this over this way. Let's move some of that. Let's move this around. Again, it goes back to when I worked as a nurse in a hospital, and we go and the patient's like to put the light on, and the patient's a prisoner, and we just going right in there, and the guards like, no, no, nope, 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 no, you can't just go in there just like that. We have to make sure the patient's handcuffed, the patient's this, all of that first. So you're not thinking of all that part. You're thinking, I'm going to go in to go take care of my patient. So you're not seeing all of that. Of course, we have to have safety training, but they're seeing it from their expert and point of view, and they can do that. So somebody comes into your house and say, let's work it this way, let's move things like that. Even when I go to like relatives' house where it's like they're older or friend's house and I'm looking around, I'm like, okay, maybe we can do that. Maybe we can move things. I don't say it unless if I kind of know them and all, because again, people get a little bit offended when you open your mouth and say stuff that they didn't ask you for. And some people are receptive of it. So you know your friends. So you know the kind of people you hang around with. So all right. So also get that help button. They have the Medicare or Medicaid pays for that too, where they can I think they clip onto their outfit. Some they used to have the one that hang around the neck that's not safe. So there's so many ways you can do it where it's on the body, because if the button's like downstairs or it's on the other side, if they fall, they can't reach it. I think back in the days like, help, I've fallen and I can't get up. So everybody had so many different funny part of that. So, but you can get that button. It calls right away. If anything happens, if they fall, it calls the fire station, it calls the police, it calls you. So it's so like updated now. So there's so many things they can do. So everybody can get there in time to come and help them. Alrighty. Excuse me in there. Again, like I said, glasses, hearing aid, make sure the hearing's okay, because sometimes they have when the hearing's not okay, the balance when your ear, the balance in your ear too can cause you to sway and fall. So make sure they go there, get a hearing check, and all loose clothing too. It's also at the time where they're not wearing clothing where they have to hurry up and take 10,000 buttons down to go to the bathroom, and the pants, the belt is not so complicated that they're trying to hurry up and get there, climb up the stairs or come down the stairs and hurry up and do that. So start looking at the wardrobe and saying, let's do that. Let's take some of these clothes away. Let's get free fitting blouses. Doesn't have to be ugly. It can still be functional. All right. But it has to be the way it keeps them safe. All right. Again, like I said, you can get a home health aide that can come and stay with them, then can come to the house there. You can have family members that who are also paid to take care of them. Again, people might say, oh yeah, get paid, but you remember right now you're going to be getting paid at that rate. So you're not leaving your regular job if you can't afford to leave your regular job, but you can get people to do that. Some relatives who can do that. All right. So let me see. I think I covered everything here. So now you can say, okay, this is not an exhaustive list, by the way. So you can call the closest nursing home in your area. Some places and hospitals, they have teaching. They have seminars. They have community board where you can go there, and they teach you fire safety. They teach safety with assisted devices like your walkers and all the different things, your canes and all. So you can call that your area agency on aging. You can call that. Also, your doctor's office they're also affiliated with the different agencies. Also, so your social workers, most doctors' office have social workers too that they can do that. And the area agency on aging have all of that too. You can also call. I think I said the health department in your area, so hospital. You can go on different websites like the WHO website, CDC website, and those are reputable websites that will give you accurate information. All right, and then also you can also just ask your friendly relative who's also in the field and be like, by the way, I just wanted to ask, what would how would you do this? Because I do have some elderly relatives, and of course, I have elderly relatives. I have some elderly neighbors that would ask me something to be like, wait a second, you're this, right? How would you do that? Is that, medications or things like assistive device, and what would you recommend? And also, I kind of give them some ideas too, and some, relatives I do this as well. So the most important thing, and then also you're the person who able to move around safely, make sure things are not in the way, because sometimes people leave their walker there or leave their cane there. And I've had some people who went flying straight across the room because they trip over grandma's walker or they trip over something. So make sure you're keeping yourself safe too. Okay, it's not just keeping grandma and then safe, keeping yourself safe. All right. So if you just joining me again, hopefully you haven't you been on, but you can still go back and watch. So we're talking about safety tips to keep your elderly relatives safe. So what you could do, again, make sure those rugs are moving, the moving rugs and moving parts and things on the floor, plastic bags, anything that's on the floor that may cause them to fall, make sure to move that. Ensure the lighting's good and a night light, that their assistive devices is close by when they get out of bed at night. Secure the stairs, the railings, check it, make sure that it's safe, that it's not shaking, and you can get somebody to come in. I think if you're doing anything for elderly people too, you can get some discounts. So talk to the doctor about that, and talk to your mom or dad insurance company too, so they can give you some discount for that. Okay. And then again, you can also have somebody come in, an expert home health person who owns an agency, or you can even get like you can get somebody who's like a nurse, a CNA, and all that, who works in that field, can come there and say, okay, because there are people who are paid to just come and look at the house, and also nurses who come to do home care. They come in there, and then they have to look around the surroundings to make sure the person is safe. And then again, get the call button. I'm saying call button, thinking of work. The advice where you can put on them, where they can call for help anytime they need to. It calls the fire department, it calls you, it calls the police and all that. And so if anything happens, they can come and get there, because there's some people who have fallen and lay there for a long time. And sometimes, unfortunately, they passed away before you could get to them. So it's important. Okay. It's very, 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 very important. All right. Because you want your elderly relative to get old. We all gonna get old. And this is not like when you get old, oh my God, you old now. In our culture, it's like, go to the pasture and sit there and just be old. No, people are still getting up. They go into bingo, they go into the dancing, and they love music and they love hanging out with other people. But the most important thing is to make sure we keep them safe, because we break a major bone, head injury can be very devastating, and it can change their lives and change your lives as well. I know some people like to think that, oh, I don't want to put my relatives in a nursing home. Sometimes they have to be in a nursing home, because sometimes they have memory issues to where it becomes very unsafe that they cannot stay home. There's some people, again, that would just get up and open the door, and next thing you know, they're down the street. And there have been people who will walk to where there is a water close by, water and things close by, and they end up unfortunately drowning. So it's important you start having a conversation now. You see your family member getting older, 60, 65, and all. Say, mom, dad, let's start having a conversation now, and don't spring it up all at once. Okay. And especially for men are impulsive, and they become more impulsive as they get older. They think they can still do whatever, even climbing ladders and all. So start having that conversation and have it more often. Bring your family members involved in it, so everybody can be at the same place and say, this is what's going on, mom. We want to keep you safe. Dad, we want to keep you safe. Okay. So I don't know if I have any more comments. So let me just check and see. Okay. Alrighty. So I think I got that already. So I don't know. Victor said birthday night. I don't know. Okay. I think I answered all the questions here. So, but thank you all for watching. Thank you all for watching. For those of you who are watching now, I say thank you. For those of you who will be watching later, I say thank you. Please share the show. Please share the show. I come on every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern and broadcast on YouTube at the same name and the same time and focus on Liberia. And I bring Abby's daily, those little short 90-second videos during the week. Okay. So thank you all for your love and support. Please share the show again. And I hope to see you all later. Please stay safe, take care of each other, and take care of your mental health. Okay, that is very important, and also for elderly people too, because they become depressed when they're not moving around and lose their independence and all that. So try to keep them as active as possible. Alrighty. So thank you all, and they want to make this long, and it seems like I had it there. So good night. God bless. I'm trying to get off here. Sorry. My thing is not going off. 1 second. Got my glasses on. I'm done, so you guys can, sorry. Just trying to end my stream here. Okay, let me see. Questions coming still? Okay. Need my glasses.